Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer Halliburton with the Awakened Jenn Tarot. I'm a Soulful Revolution certified tarot reader, spiritual advisor, and healing and manifestation coach. Today we're going to be doing a channeled message on what is a spiritual awakening. And I'm going to do it from a kind of different perspective because I'm going to use my cards to help me bring this channeled message to you. And so before we get started, I want us to go ahead and take 3 deep breaths together and do the invocation to call in our spirit team. So if you'll close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths with me, breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in my angels, archangels, ascended masters, my higher self and guardian angels to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. So be it. Okay, so like I said, the topic today is what is a spiritual awakening? So the majority of the content that I'm going to be talking about is coming back to the essence of spiritual awakening. And I myself had no idea what a spiritual awakening was when I went through it back in 2021, which wasn't even that long ago, but it feels like a lifetime at the same time. And I came from a strong Christian background. I went to church every time the doors was open. I mean, that was just my life. That was my identity. And I will say that when I had the awakening, the first message that I received was that I did not have to give up Jesus. And I just remember like just the relief that came with that because I didn't even know how. I had no idea how. I was, told that my understanding would have to change, and it has greatly changed. But my connection is just as strong, and Jesus has always been just a strong guide for me. And I mean, he's just called me on this path. And that is something that it took a long time to kind of work my way through because coming through, the Christian background, this seemed to go against everything that I had been taught, and it came with a lot of fear to take this leap, to trust. But I mean, when you have an actual encounter with God, when God is the one who brings this awareness to you, it's hard to argue, and it's hard to you hear, what the outer world is telling you, but when your experience was so much greater than anything that you've ever experienced, even in, your existence, your known existence, you do stop caring about, what other people's perceptions or what their opinions are of, this path that you're taking and the new beliefs that you're taking on, the way that your beliefs are shifting. And so I had to go through that for sure, to let go of the fear consciousness. And really, that's what it's doing. When you really think about what a spiritual awakening is, it is removing those levels of fear that are holding us back, keeping us in separation from the truth and fullness of who we are in God, who we are in our, fullness of divinity. And I know that, like, from the Christian perspective, that is something that you're not actually even supposed to be saying, is that you have, this divinity within you. From the Christian perspective, it is, it's considered greater to disempower yourself, to be less than, it's just, it's a way of viewing God that just keeps you in this state of fear and feeling like you need, someone else outside of you to give you the answers that are actually you have the access to within you. And so when you have the spiritual awakening and, all of that just gets blown wide open, and, you have nothing new to really hold on to yet, because like you're letting go of your old beliefs, but your new beliefs haven't fully, anchored in yet. It can feel so scary, confusing, and ungrounded. And that's when you're typically in the void, is when you're in that, state of like you've let go of the old, but the new hasn't come in yet. And so now you're just kind of floating, waiting for the new to kind of anchor in, so that because when you let go of the old, because you have been so attached to all of those beliefs and you had shaped so much of your world around that belief system, you're going to be a little bit hesitant to fully grab hold to the next one until you can feel that truth so resonant in your soul. I mean, it just like, I just feel it just all the way aligned. All right, so I was going to go ahead and pull some cards to help me deliver this message for you. So I'm using the Light Seers Tarot, and I've already shuffled. So what do our guides want us to know about spiritual awakening? So first off, what is a spiritual awakening? So we have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords, it's okay. We're talking about the awakening. And the card that showed up has us asleep, has a woman asleep in it. So what does it mean to be awake? What does it mean to be awake? Because when we're asleep, we can be living a whole different reality that can feel so real. It can feel so real to our mind, to our just whole being, our state of being. We fully put ourselves into that place of reality, as we're calling it. So you need to start thinking about reality in a much greater, expanded perspective. So when you are in this dream state and you think that that's your reality, I mean, you're experiencing it just as fully as just if you were awake, correct? So to be awakened, you have to realize that you were at first asleep. You have to realize that at first you were experiencing the dream state, not the actual reality. You have to realize that there was more consciousness going on, existing at the same time that you were experiencing your dream state. Because you think of yourself when you are asleep, the world is still moving around you. The people around you are still having their own experiences. And what you really, to blow your mind, just think about you and your significant other are there laying right next to each other in the same room, in the same space and time. But if you're both asleep and you're both in your dream state, you're both having completely different realities, completely different experiences. You're in the same space, the same time, but your realities are vastly different. And so you've got to be able to see reality from this higher perspective. You've got to be able to pull back from the dream state to even realize that you're in the dream state. Like a lot of the spirituality books will refer it really as becoming the observer. So have you ever been in a dream state? And you realize that you were dreaming. So a lot of people, in the higher vibrational path, you are Is the dream state is very active for you. You do a lot of astral travel in your dream states. It's a very active space. And so I connect that a lot of the people that are connected with me through this channel, they have experienced just their very vivid dreams, to the point that they do realize, I'm dreaming. Like you do in the middle of your dream, you're realizing I'm dreaming. And so you're able to pull yourself back from the experiences of the dream, because you realize I'm dreaming. This is just a dream. And so when the things are happening to you inside of the dream, you're not panicking. You're not, doing the human, because you know that ultimately you're going to wake up, and all of this, it didn't actually exist. It was just a dream. So that's the first part, of spiritual awakening, to really try to even begin to understand. Spiritual awakening is when you realize that you were asleep to begin with, when you realize that you were in the middle of a dream, when you realize that reality is not as concrete as we really would like to think that it is. That leaves it feeling very unsafe when we can't fully trust, what we see and hear, think for sure, but it's becoming the observer. It's realizing that you are in the dream state, that you are asleep. So in order for you to wake up, you have to first realize that you were asleep. You have to accept that you were asleep, and that your reality that you thought wasn't actually real. Okay? So if that's what spiritual awakening is, how do we know when it's happening to us? The Ace of Cups. The heart chakra. It's connected to the heart chakra. So for me, when I started the journey of self-love, when I started learning to love myself and I started filling my own cup, that's what started expanding this state. And so your heart, when you really understand the chakra systems, your heart is the bridge between the lower chakras and the upper chakras. And so with the lower chakras, those are the ones that are about our instincts. That's the one, fear is going to be very rooted in the root chakra at the base. It's where our instincts are to keep us safe. And then, you have, the sacral is our desire. Desires can sometimes, cause us to get into situations that are not always healthy for us. And then we have our solar plexus, which is about our power. And so we're either giving our power away, or we're trying to take it, be power over others. But it's keeping us very out of balance from the upper chakras. And the upper chakras this is our connection to God. With our crown chakra, it's our connection to God. We come to our third eye. This is where we see spiritually. If you want clear vision, you've got to open up your third eye. You've got to be able to see with this eye as well as these eyes to get in the full perspective of what reality really is. And then we go to our throat chakra. This is how we express ourselves. And you really think about creation itself. Creation began with words. God spoke. And so if you are not able to use your voice and not use it healthy and appropriately, you are blocking your manifestations. You do not have the powerful creative energy that you could have. And the heart chakra, that's the bridge. So when we are able to open up this connection, we're able to really expand our heart center, our heart space, because the heart will just expand out. And that's what I really love about my new logo, is that's what I want you to experience from me. With every single reading, with every single session that you have with me, any interaction that you have with me, I want you to know that I am coming from this space of my heart. I want you to literally feel the power of my heart coming out, in these messages. I want you to know, like, that it's not, mental me. It's literally like, this is the soul, the seat of the soul. I am coming to you from the essence of truth, my very truth, that just everything, my core existence is where I feel out of this energy right here. And so once you are able to start opening up this heart space, that's moving in love. And the first space is going to be with that self-love. It's going to be when you are pouring love back into yourself. And we can talk more about what self-love looks like, because I did take actionable steps to help me build my self-love. And then you've got to make sure that not only are you pouring love into yourself, but you're also pouring it out all around you. You're making choices in love. You're, speaking in love. You're doing everything, with this energy of love. You're expanding the love. And the more that you expand the love, that is what is raising your vibration. That is what gets you into the enlightenment, the spiritual awakening, because it's about raising the vibration, the emotional vibration, because we start down here at shame and guilt. And then we will move all the way up to courage, pride. And then we keep going and we find love, joy, and peace. But we've got to go through, just the raising of the vibration by bringing out more and more love, by moving more in love versus moving in fear. Okay. So I've asked, what is a spiritual awakening? And how can we know when we're going through one? I'm going to ask one final question, and is, what should you do if you think that you're going through an awakening? We have the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is about expectations. So having the appropriate expectations is going to help you the most to get through this. And I'm going to tell you that everybody's experience with spiritual awakening is different. Everyone's experience is their own personal journey. Some people will have very rapid, spontaneous awakenings, which is what I experienced. And some will just have, smaller awarenesses, just little awakenings opening up little by little by little. It's not going to be just a hit you in the face moment. It will be just little realizations that every day get you, more expanded. It's little choices. It's the little choices. So manage your expectations about what you think awakening is, and don't give yourself rules. I mean, that's one of the things we are really breaking away from, is the full rules. It's your path. It's your journey. And so part of what a spiritual awakening is it's learning what your soul came here to experience. What is your soul's biggest desires to experience? There's no judgment in whatever that is. And so The caution here is about comparing your awakening with anyone else's awakening. And so I'm not being guided at this time to tell you like an awakening is going to feel like this, or you're going to feel this, or you're going to do this, because that could actually misguide you to make you think that you're doing something wrong. And there's actually nothing wrong. You can't do anything wrong with it. As long as you are just being open to the process, moving in love, just recognizing fear, recognizing, the observer state, getting more in the observer state, and that if you're the observer of those thoughts, of those feelings, if you are the observer of those things, how could they be who you are? How could they be yours if you are the observer of those things? And so you start disconnecting yourself from these stories and these patterns that you've had programmed into you from birth. But we don't want to give you an expectation of this is what it needs to look like, because it's your journey. It's your specific journey. And you can't do it wrong. You can choose to do this journey you can choose to stay in fear. If that's your choice, there's nothing wrong with that. That is the essence of what free will really is about, is that you get to experience whatever you want to experience. But make sure that it is what you want to experience and not the programming, not the fears, not the control. Like, make sure that you're coming from the right space when you're making your decisions. And that's going to be the hardest thing to overcome through the awakening process, because that is the strongest program that has been placed on us on this planet Earth, is the fear consciousness. That's what Earth has been, in this 3D based system of consciousness that is now expanding, and you're seeing it all over the place in the world. People are waking up all over the world. And so that's why you are seeing such distinct groups of, you've got people over here who are living in, extreme states of fear, and they just complete disempowerment, and they don't see that they could even possibly do anything to get themselves out of this place. You've got people here in the state of 4D that, like, they are feeling both sides. They're waking up in sort of the arousal state of what, when you're sleeping, just think about just those moments before you're actually awake. You're aware. You're starting to be aware of the outer reality, but you're still sort of grounded into the dream state too. So that's what I see as what 4D, when you're moving to the vibration of 4D, the consciousness of 4D, is that it's just before you fully wake up. You're slightly aware. You're just slightly aware, and it's got you aroused, but not awake. So then we move to the 5D state, which is love consciousness. This is unity consciousness. Over here in the 3D state, it's separation. So when we live in fear, we're separate, and we're separate from God first and foremost, because we separate ourselves from our divinity that is connected to God, that is our direct right as being, just extensions of source. We are told that we are powerless. We are told this, and we believe it, and that's what keeps us in that state. Here, we want to believe. In 4D, we want to believe. We don't believe, but we want to believe that we have more power than what we have been told. We want to believe these things, but we don't fully believe it yet. And then 5D, You know. You know who you are. You know who you are. You're awake. Okay. So I'm going to pull from my Art of Manifestation Oracle one final card to close us out. All right. So what can we do to help manifest in our 5D reality, our highest timeline, 5D reality? Take time out, 55. Give yourself permission to stop. Sometimes we just need to slow down and rest up. And yet so often we keep pushing and pushing, even though there are clear signs that we should stop. Taking a time out now will allow you to replenish your energy and return revitalized and with an abundance of focused energy. So with the 55 card, it tells me that there are things that we do need to change. And spiritual awakening will absolutely change, transform every part of your life. And it is going to take out any of the things that are not serving you and are holding you back from living in your fullest experience, your fullest expression of your divinity, in your highest timeline, the thing that we talk about, the highest timeline. And so taking a time out, I feel like, we get especially in the 3D state, the fear keeps us feeling like we've got to constantly keep moving, keep pushing, keep driving. We have to have more, more, more. And because we need more, we have to do more to get more, right? And so we need to slow down, take care of ourselves. This feels very much like that self-care, self-love, pouring into yourself. Stop giving out to everyone else. When you're taking a time out, it's because you've expended yourself all over around you to where you have nothing left to give. So now is the time. Now is the time to start. If you haven't done it yet, to start working on self-love, to start pouring back into yourself. Start filling up your own cup of love and expanding your own heart. And don't pour from the empty heart. You pour into your heart and it's just going to start spilling out just naturally. You're not even going to have to think about it. Once you have poured so much into yourself, that's what you have naturally to give out to the whole world anyways. All right, so I'm going to close it out there. This is just something different that I wanted to start giving some more evergreen content that helps you to understand the spiritual path on a deeper level. And so if you have found value in this video, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications. It will let you know every time I post a new video. And other than that, if you have questions about your spiritual awakening, I would love to talk to you about it. It's one of my favorite subjects. So you can learn more about me down in the description box. You can book a session with me, or you can just comment down below and just ask your questions and I'll see what I can come up with for you. So, all right. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day and I'll see you next time. Bye.